Blake, obviously you sat there and reviewed the film. What bothered you most about the performance? I know you guys didn't have any turnovers or sacks, and I know that's what you guys do.
Probably the most disappointing thing, when you go back and watch the film, and something that we really talked about last night as a defense is, our togetherness, our excitement for each other, our love for each other. We didn't seem to play with great energy. And whenever you don't play with great energy, usually you don't have turnovers and sacks. And, that's something that was really disappointing. It hadn't been. I thought we'd gotten over that hump. Let me put it that way. And unfortunately, we did not. But that by far was the most disappointing thing.
I guess from a game plan perspective, going up against them, what were some of the goals? What did you guys think you could have exploited against them that maybe just didn't happen?
I like I said in here last week, I thought they did a good job, especially the quarterback knowing where to go with the ball. And their offensive line, did a good job protecting, which we knew going into the game that was going to be a challenge for us. But, I didn't think we'd be held to 3 tackles for loss and 0 sacks. Not that, like I said, not that we could have necessarily exploited that. There were some opportunities, I thought, overall, maybe some done a better job stopping the run. That was disappointing. Like I said, when you don't play with great energy, when you don't play with great passion, you can make up for mistakes if you play with those things. And when you don't, you have to be perfect, and it's hard to be perfect. It's hard for any defense to be perfect for 60 minutes. So that was the most disappointing thing from a schematic standpoint. They hadn't shown us anything that we had not seen, but I thought we were just missing that energy and that buzz.
Oh, hey, Blake. So I know you mentioned they didn't play with passion or energy or whatever. Like, why did that happen? I know it's coming off a bye week. Like, did you see this coming? What's your explanation for it, and how do you change it?
I think it's twofold. I think, I think the biggest thing from a coaching standpoint that I look back on that I don't think we went into that game at by any means disrespecting FIU. I thought our guys, from an assignment standpoint, it was probably one of their better games, when you look at playing clean. I'm not sure we did a good enough job, and myself, as far as preparing our guys for the expectation level of the energy that FIU was going to play with. And that's something we've talked about a lot as a staff, and something that we got to meet head on, because it continues to be an issue. Like I said, you think you get over the hump, and probably complacency sets in. It's human nature, and that's something that we got to fight every single day. And like I said, we'll meet that head on.
It seemed like in the first half there were significant third down issues, stopping them, especially on some third and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, even third and really long, the run up the middle. What was going on those plays, and could you break down what happened?
On the screen, on the touchdown on 3rd down, it was really 3 to me in one drive. One of them, we're in 2-man. We're not playing underneath the receiver. They get a first down. The next one, we're actually in a 2-man where, we have someone for the running back, and there were some fundamental breakdowns on that play as well. And then on those are the 2 that stand out the most. But 10 guys can be doing a perfect job and 1 can't, and they did a good job, exposing that 1 guy a couple times. So, it's something that happens throughout the course of the game. On the big screen, we're there, we just don't tackle the guy. That's the 3 that really stood out to me early in the game. That, unfortunately, the timing of when it happened, I thought that drive gave FIU hope, and obviously we don't ever want to give up a touchdown, period. But I think those were 3 critical plays. I thought we bounced back nicely, after giving up that touchdown until late in the game. So, like I said, it's a guy here, a guy there. We have to be able to produce in that situation.
Blake, I want to ask you, after reviewing the film, how would you assess how the corners in particular played in the game?
I thought it was a very up and down day for all three of them. I thought I thought all three of them did some good things, and all three of them had some plays that they'd love to have back. I think if you asked all three of them, they'd probably tell you the same thing.
Blake, again, going back to the lack of energy, excitement, are there discussions about going with different players, looking ahead, looking at different guys that maybe would have more energy? Is there a discussion this week looking at that?
Absolutely. I think, something that we have to, continue doing is rewarding hard work and rewarding energy and maybe not rewarding talent so much. And I think sometimes you fall into that trap a little bit. But, I think we got to continue to build competition, and it's up to the backup players to prove to the coaching staff and to the guys that they're going to be on the field with, throughout the week, that they know what to do and are going to be able to handle a game-like situation. But we want to play as many players as possible. I think that keeps our guys fresh. I think that keeps the morale up on a defense. But at the same time, it does everybody an injustice if we throw somebody out there that has not proven that they're ready to take that next step.
Blake, I think this morning Manny used the phrase, how a loss like this could sabotage recruiting efforts. I know you're obviously involved in that process now, a month before signing period. What's been sort of your guys' message to recruits after this loss on Saturday at FIU, and what's been some of the feedback you've been getting?
The biggest thing that we talk about is owning it. First and foremost, nobody wanted that result. But I'll be honest, I think the guys that we have committed in this class, the ones I've spoken to, have been unbelievable. I mean, when I tell you they talk about their aspirations for their goals and for this university and for this team, one day winning an ACC championship and a national championship, I don't think the guys that we have committed in this class are deterred. Now, they might not be, a lot of times if they're silent, you kind of get that feel. But every guy I've talked to has been very responsive. Their parents have been very responsive. They understand that there's growing pains, throughout this year. But I think we have true Miami Hurricanes committed in this class. Like I said, the ones I've spoken to. Appreciate it.